that way, oh, no, I was on the fine way. Tabila, I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was raised in the slum by a chick with my gun. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soul, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's poor, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I'm holding your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. You know what I say when I can't with ball. When I chill on that side, I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fighting together, we can conquer this team. From the east to the west, and waving the flag from the north to the side. You're not joining the team. You go where you fella, you know my crown. Who cares? Who got it? I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah.
And of course, I love Liberia, and I know you also love Liberia. Today is Wednesday, July 5. Good evening, and welcome to Open Conversation on ELBC Radio and online. Here is where we critically analyze trending issues, set the agenda, and seek your input on the positive direction of our country. So today, I'm happy my co-host is joining me. Washington Tape is joining me tonight, and it's good to have you, Washington. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's just that going through horrific moments puts me through a very difficult time to be here, but I'll have to brace the storm to develop, the courage and build up the tenacity to get myself going, because the past is the past, and life has to go on.
I like that.
So
I like that. Yeah.
you cannot turn back the hem of time to get everything started all over. So I have to be strong. I have to empower myself with all of the fortitude. I just have to be here.
Okay, I must commend your resilience and strength to be with us this evening, Washington, and welcome again to the program.
Yes, thank you very much.
Great. So as usual, we will begin with trending issues of the day. All of the things, that made news in Liberia today. We'll be talking about that. And of course, following that, we will have in online our guest, who is also, whether he's online, he's also in studio with us, because we will be watching and talking to him, the head of Liberian delegation to ECOWAS, chair of ECOWAS Parliament Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security, and African Peer Review, and the Senate chair on Public Works, Edwin Melvin Snowe Jr. Will be our guest this evening on Open Conversation. So the conversation starts right now. Let's take a break. We will be right back.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together. As one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You from Lower Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa City. I'm about that way on your river. I walk on the fine way. Tabila, I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Feeling on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I was raised in the slum by a chick with my gun. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soul, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me,
Welcome back. This is Open Conversation on ELBC Radio, and trending issues. What's trending? What's trending in Liberia today? I like to tell you that we told you yesterday or last night that today we will give you updates from the court. So I like to start with that because we promised to give you updates, but we cannot confirm nor deny whether the pieces of evidence requested for prosecution or from prosecution was delivered. But it's also important to note this evening that prosecutors took an exception to the ruling that was filed, the ruling for a motion for discovery filed by defense lawyers. So we have been promised by one of prosecuting lawyers that we will have an update tomorrow. We tried to get in touch for this evening, but that did not work. But he has promised. Lafia Councillor Gu is going to talk to us concerning that tomorrow evening on open conversation, and so we get updates as to whether or not they have produced the evidence requested. And so back to what's happening in Liberia today, or what happened, or what are the trending issues in Liberia today. We know that His Excellency, the President of Liberia, met with his Israeli counterpart, or the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. And both presidents stressed the importance of enhancing the long-standing diplomatic ties subsisting between both countries and through a vibrant economic cooperation. But that to also add that as a result of that, a lot of things are going to be happening for Liberia.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Israeli government has promised to work along with Liberia when it comes to farming, and especially in rice farming, because Liberia staple is rice.
It's rice. That's good.
And that's good news, isn't it?
It's very good news. Very aesthetic. And I think we can build on that. And Liberia Israel relationship can build more on what is happening currently with the leadership of Liberia and that of the Israelis.
Obviously, Liberia and Israel have a long-standing ties. They also, have agreed to improve trade links between both countries, and that is a very, very good thing.
Absolutely.
Investments and technologies. We have a lot of young people. The country, we have a very young population, and so if Israel is going to invest in technology in Liberia, I think that's good news for the young generation.
The century
of this country
is also moving to a technological, a word. Liberia at this present moment is far way more beyond technology. So if we can have this privilege to have this bilateral tied with Israel, introducing all of these, different benefits for Liberia, it's just like a wow for the young population to develop Liberia in these different spectrums.
And they also promise to add value to local agriculture, which we know of, but also such as rubber, oil palm, and cassava, among others. That is very, very important. If Liberia is a country that provides food for herself, or has another country, a sisterly nation, that is helping to boost agriculture in Liberia, we will be on the right path. And a lot of people questioned the president's visit to Israel, but we're beginning to see that as a result of his visit to Israel, there are so many promises that have been made. And somebody said last night, why did the president, or why is the president accompanied by government officials, which is a normal thing. And when the president goes out of the country and he goes with these people, he is not the one when these things are said, or when these relationships are built between your president and another country's president. Those people who are responsible, if you have the Minister of Agriculture, she has to follow up on all of these things. And so that is one of the reasons why these people accompany the president.
So like you see people who ask these kind of trivial questions, you don't build your fortitude on these questions, because they are not really sensitive when it comes to diplomacy. Why would someone ask the question, why a lot of people go with the president? When the president goes, he meets up with agriculture, he meets up with people who have accessibility to electricity. He meets up with people who want to make Liberia to be a kind of televised and electrified, or a kind of how do I place it, a world where in technology will be on the pedestal. These are things that, so people who are responsible for the different
operations of these line ministers, they will have to follow up on these
exactly
things.
So they will have to effectively connect themselves with these agreements, they're starting up from there because exactly the president is definitely not going to be the only person doing all of the work
Obviously.
simultaneously. So these people need to be on the ground when these discussions have been held. They take responsibility and take charge, and then the implementation process has been observed.
Sometimes it's just good to provide the information for people who are listening because others don't understand and then they ask some questions. But it's good sometimes to provide the information. So, as we know, the president also received a prestigious award in Israel today. The president is in Israel for 3 days, 3 days working visit, even though the visit is coming out of that visit. Liberia is getting a lot of things, but President, we are also received what we know as the Friends of Zion Award, an internationally noted prestigious award bestowed on eminent personalities who support the virtues and rights of the Israel, the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Sorry, and so. The president also received that award today in Israel, which is a good news, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So with that, we heard that today the opposition Unity Party paid a visit. The standard bearer of the opposition Liberty Party
Unity Party.
sorry. Unity Party, yeah, paid a visit to the Monrovia Central Prison, right? So, why did they go there? What was the intent?
They are trying to establish this political solidarity with Justice Scott. So they are going to South Beach, also the Monrovia Central Prison, has a lot of implications. So these are things we must be able to dissect. Why did they go there? Why are they consistently going there? Look at their relationship with Justice Scott, and these are things we must be able to do. Now, the comments that came out of the visit from South Beach, these are things we must critically be able to look at and to detect the Unity Party's intention of going to South Beach. Now, if you listen carefully to what the Secretary General of the Unity Party said, he aligned the incarceration of Justice Scott to, a political undertone stuff. And I think with the politicization of this entire judicial process should not be coming from a political party that hopefully wants to see themselves in the leadership role of the country, right? So I think the Unity Party have got to be circumspect on these, judicial matters, making these political statements. It is not bad to visit Justice Scott. Probably you have some political relationship with her, but I think your political influence, making political statement when the judicial process, is on the way. I think these things have got to stop, and putting sentiments and feelings and all of that into this thing has got to stop. The Unity Party must be able to observe the tendency of justice and the proceedings in this country so that we all can trust the system and flush ahead. I think with
So
what is
what are they
happening.
trying to, what are they trying to prove here? Because I don't see anybody. Let's talk about, when this from the onset of this whole thing, it was initially politicized by the opposition, and then when the case went a little bit cold, we didn't hear anything because we heard rumors that Justice Scott would have been incarcerated, and there was this news around that. Okay, we think that what everybody is thinking, that allegedly somebody broke into her home, and there was something going on there. That is not the case. We are hearing something different, and there's so many different things coming out of this case now, and she might be apprehended. Everybody went cold, right? But as soon as she was apprehended, we seen the same day she was taken to the Monrovia Central Prison. The chairperson of the Unity Party was there. I watched them live on social media. Even the Amos Twe himself was there, and he made remarks like, "We're not leaving from here until we see that justice prevails." I don't know why up to now they haven't still been sleeping there, because these kind of comments, if you make them, they're not important to they should know that, the law is the law.
Exactly.
Nobody is thinking about how an innocent person or a young woman lost her life. For me, that is the issue here.
Exactly.
And if any of those people who are politicizing this case were to be in the shoes of this, the parents of this child or the immediate relatives of this child, they wouldn't do that. Or if that was their child who was allegedly murdered, they wouldn't do that. That is the sad thing about us in this country. If you are connected to somebody politically, or you have some, relationship with that person can do no wrong, which is a sad thing, because if the person did anything wrong or allegedly did something wrong, we don't see anything wrong with that, because that person should not be punished for their actions. But if that was somebody who is from West Point or Nuclear Town and who doesn't have any, any title in the society, it's okay for that person to be incarcerated. If somebody raped today and that person knows nobody in the society, it's okay for that person to be, incarcerated, thrown behind bars forever, and nobody should remember that. That is okay. But if a permanent person in the society did something allegedly wrong, it's not okay to have that person, prove their innocence, and which is sad, because somebody lost their life. And we need to know, it's important that the justice system tells us exactly what happened in the former Chief Justice house the night the incident occurred, because they owe it to the public. The body of this young woman is still, at the funeral home. The family needs closure, and the Liberian people need to know exactly what happened. So what exactly did Amos say? Did he say that it's politically motivated?
Exactly.
Okay, so if you say it's politically motivated, then you're trying to twist the whole thing. But what are you thinking? My thought is, what happened? What do you say about somebody who lost their lives? Is it okay for somebody to die and nobody knows exactly who killed that person and why the person did what they did?
So what the Unity Party needs to understand is that they need to give, a chance to the legal proceeding, and more besides the criminal investigation of this entire matter. Now, what they are doing is that they're trying to make an inflammatory scene. They cannot use the political influence to determine whether Justice Scott is not guilty or guilty. There was an incident being provided, right? And
from the police station when she was taken for questioning. She said she saw the person who did that. She looked the person in the eye. She's on tape for saying that. So this woman she's a lawyer. She's a former Chief Justice. She knows exactly. And even yesterday in court, she was, she joined her defense team.
Exactly.
And so why wouldn't they give, justice a chance? Is it that they're trying to win the sentiments of the people of Maryland County because they're trying to make it political? And Justice Scott is from Maryland County. Why would you want to do that
But even-
to the detriment of the death, of a dead person? Why would you want to do that?
The last time, if you listen to the interview or the press conference being called by the former senator of Maryland County, what is his name? John Balut. He tried to tie, or he tried to align, the Marylanders with what is happening with Justice Scott. And I think that is wrong. Don't, inflame, or sensationalize, your personal feelings with matters that are judicial. It is wrong.
It's not the personal feeling. It's what they feel politically, and the thing that if they did this, they will win the sympathy of the people. But again, anybody who is sympathetic will know that somebody has died, and it's incumbent upon the government to make sure that justice is served in this matter.
Exactly, and that's what we all must give the government the chance, the police, have already conducted their criminal investigation.
The case is in court now.
And it's already in court now.
The August term of court, we're told by our judicial reporter that, the case, because all eyes are on this case. So obviously it will be something that will come up in the August term of court.
Exactly.
And they asked yesterday for evidence, and the prosecution or prosecutors were to produce the evidence today. We are told that they took an exception to that. And so tomorrow, Councillor Gu will give us updates on the case. Let's move to something else. We also know that we're just going to our neighbors, Sierra Leone. We're told that President Bio has sacked 9 ranking government officials effective immediately. When a president is re-elected, or he gets re-elected, or she gets re-elected, all of her previous or his previous government officials are deemed to not have a job anyway.
And probably the positions are nullified.
Yeah. So, but the thing about it, what makes me even wonder more is, what President we had to win elections in Liberia. All of us know that, all government officials know that they don't have a job. But when the president comes up to say that you are fired, then it sends a different signal to me, because if I'm fired or if the president is replaced, that's okay, because you obviously know that if the president gets reelected, you have no job until you're given a green letter again, reposing his confidence in you to serve again. But again, it is what it is, and that is what is trending in our neighboring Sierra Leone with President Amada Bio and his high-ranking officials. But it is what it is. So that's what's trending today. We're going to, as usual, open up the lines for you to make your import at 8:30. We will have our guests with us, and we will be talking about Liberia. We'll be talking about Bomi County. We'll be talking about the sub-region, and I'm sure our guest is ready to answer all of the questions that we have for him. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to take your calls on trending issues, and then we go straight to our guest tonight on the show.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together as one. They say you're not there, we stand, but there we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget it. You from Lova County, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa Sessu. I'm a bad dad, we own your people, I walk on the fine way. I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Free land on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah yeah. I love Liberia, oh yeah yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah yeah. Oh yeah yeah.
I was raised in the slum, but I chilled with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it, it's not a problem.
We don't have much time left in our favor. It's your time to tell us what you think about what's trending in Liberia, what happened in Liberia today, or what we discussed right now. It's your time to call us on 0880-514-096, and you'll be live on Open Conversation. Let's hear it. Let's talk about it. 0880-514-096. What do you make of the Unity Party's stand-up bearer appearance there at the Monrovia Central Prison? President Weah has received a Friends of Zion Award, an internationally noted prestigious award bestowed on eminent personalities who support the virtues and rights of the Jewish people. President Madabio sacks 9 high-ranking government officials. Bio just got re-elected in Sierra Leone, and the president of Liberia met with his Israeli counterpart or Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And both presidents have stressed the importance of enhancing the long-standing diplomatic ties subsisting between both countries through vibrant economic cooperation. So it's your time to call us on the numbers 080-514-096. Do we have a problem with our number? Oh. Well, let's see what's going on here. Good evening.
Good evening today. How are you?
We're good. It's good to have you, sir.
Yeah, I'm okay. This is Edmond Card. We do have a say for the re-election of President. We are calling from Duboro.
Let's hear you, sir.
The whole story about this unity party thing, this is what they are putting the woman through, and she accepted it. Because when this thing happened from the beginning, the story that was surrounding the whole KD stuff and all of those things, the way in which the way in which the politicize the whole thing, it had just thrown the whole thing in the public, and everybody is discussing it. So the visitation at that place today, to visit Oscar today at the Monrovia Central Prison, they were just intended to school some political gain, because that's what they always benefit from, coming on board, they belong, and all of the people, these are the things that benefited them. So they feel that when they do those things and they will give sympathy from the Liberian people, then they will be elected. So if this is over there today, it didn't mean anything. You just try to school some or political gain. And for our president, we wish him well because we know that these are the things that he is made of for his achievement, for what he has done for the Liberian people and the international community. More and more is to come. So thank you for the show, and we are listening. We appreciate it because we trust your ability. Thank you.
Thank you also for being a part of the program. 080-514-096 is the number to call, and you will be live on Open Conversation and tell us what you make of what's trending in Liberia today. Let's take this caller. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I want to thank you for the program on the air. But I want for the former Chief Justice, the name Chief Justice, he was the head of state. Let us tell the security really what happened. So the disgrace that is going on to her is not only onto her, but to the Republic of Liberia, former Chief Justice involved in this kind of thing. So for circumstantial evidence, some of us who are investigators, for circumstantial evidence, she could be asked when she said she sprayed a man with pepper spray. If you spray somebody in the eye with pepper spray, they will be able to see the find way to get out of the house. She has security outside. And how many of them they are full? How many of them that saw that person? Let Madam Glorious can start wasting her own time bringing a lot of lawyers behind her. She has disgraced herself already. Let us tell
Well, whether or not that's how you feel anyway. Thank you for your comments. Until she is, she can prove her innocence. That's what's going to be happening. But thank you so much. Let's take this other caller. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good. Let's hear you.
I think what part of the police case, I see what the military behave. So I go with those issues. You put yourself in the will of the president, say, if you like you, but you have to just to go wrong. That's your job. So that's a bad enough.
Okay, thank you for your input. We're not getting you too clearly, but it's good to join in. Hello.
You bro.
I'm good.
Fine, hello. Your papi, your son papi. Here we are, Toba.
Mr. Towa, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mama. Nothing much for us to say about that people because we are ready just to give them one switch and they will die. Thank you, good night.
You kill the people again?
But when they will do, you see that the frustration will kill them.
Okay.
Yeah, frustration will kill them.
Okay.
Don't go, look at her.
Okay, good night.
Okay.
So, on this issue, on trending issues, we're gonna leave it at that and take a short break. When we are back, we will go to our guest, who is already ready to talk to us this evening on Open Conversation. We told you we have with us tonight on the program the head of a Liberian delegation to ECOWAS and chair of ECOWAS Parliament Committee on Political Affairs, Peace, Security, and African Peer Review, and the Senate chair on Public Works, Edwin Melvin Snowe Jr. Will be with us this evening on Open Conversation. We will open up the conversation, talk about Liberia, talk about Bomi, talk about the sub-region. Stay with us. We will be right back.
From the east to the west, north to the south, let's come together as one. They say united we stand, divided we fight. If we not celebrate, we do it for you. Voila, you forget that. You from Lower Country, you from Maryland. Voila, you from Rewa City. I'm a bad way on your tree. I'm up on the fine way. Tabila, I love Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. Free land on liberty, Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. I love Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
I was raised in the swamp, but I chill with my guns. Kept it on the low, but we fought for the bones. True son of the soil, I'm a prince in my own. Never gonna lie, me, I love LIB. Even though it's far, when we show we can face it. It's not a prophecy, I know that we can rise again. Holding my hand, I hold in your own. United, we stand, divided, we fall. So that's what they say when I come with ball. When I chill on that side, and I get no bro. I got L to the O to the V and the E. If we fighting together, we can conquer the sea. From the east to the west, then waving the flag from the north to the side. Yeah, that's joining the team. You go where you pella, you love my crown. Who kill it? Who got Jonah?
I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Free land on liberty, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I love Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. They play for me and you, Liberia, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Mama was born, yeah. Papa was born, yeah. They hold us together, the honey boy, yeah. Nabali na koya bake na papa ko. Nabali na koya bake na papa ko. Nabali kola ko na papa ko. Nabali kola ko na papa ko. Liberia waka poma o. Liberia waka ma o. Baganda no waka ma o. I know from the east.
I don't know what dialect they're speaking there. It's kind of mixed, isn't it?
I think it's from Lofa.
Really?
This boy, PCK is from Bomi County.
So it sounds pellet to me. Yeah. So I didn't want to be so quick to say that, but it's a very nice song.
Mm-hmm, it's good.
Yeah. So if you love Liberia, you would do all things, to make Liberia better, because Liberia is our, common denominator. All of us are from Liberia. We have different tribes. We're from different families,
exactly.
But this one country we all belong to.
But we are from Liberia.
Yeah, we are from Liberia.
Exactly.
So if somebody is from another country, that person is a bit different from you because you have a different culture, and the way we interact with one another in Liberia is totally different from how others do.
Exactly.
So welcome to the program again, and we have our guest already live with us, Senator Edwin Melvin Snowe Jr. Good evening from my end. I don't know what time it is now to wherever you are. You're in Israel anyway. I don't know what time it is there. Good evening from my end, and welcome to Open Conversation.
Good evening, Gigi. Good evening. Yeah, it's 11:35 p.m. here, so it's okay.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, it's 11:35 p.m.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we highly appreciate that you would be up at this time to speak with us on open conversation. Thank you so much.
You're welcome to this. Always a pleasure um, giving our stewardship to our people and letting our people know what we are doing in their space.
Okay. So I'm here tonight with my co-host, Washington Tape, and we will be asking you some questions about Liberia, about Bomi, about Liberia, about the sub-region.
Sure, I'm available. I'm all yours.
Okay.
Welcome, Senator Snowe.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm doing good. And how are you doing as well?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Let me just start by thanking you. I followed the show for a while now, and I like your team with TT. TT, as we know, is a very experienced journalist, but I admire you. I like your assistance with her, and I want to commend you and encourage you to continue your high degree of professionalism.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Snow, again for joining us. And I'd like us to start with the sub-region because you were just in Sierra Leone. I think I saw you on social media. Am I right?
You are right. You are right. I was in Sierra Leone.
So you were there to observe the elections there. What's your impression?
Well, the Sierra Leone election was very good. Sierra Leone, unlike Liberia, is very territorial. Sierra Leone have the tribe system and is very different from our election. Sierra Leone election has a lot of tension. Before the election, as we all follow on social media or through the international wires, there were a lot of violence. There were a lot of fake news. There were a lot of tension in the country. But as it drew closer to the election or on election day, the election day was relatively peaceful. Other than the late opening of polls in some areas where there was no ink. Other than that, things went very peacefully, and even when the polls opened late, they allowed the time for others to join to complete the process and be able to vote. So election in Sierra Leone on election day was very peaceful. After the election, we followed the process. The Electoral Commission was very vigilant. They were very magnanimous. They were very professional, and they delivered the result of the election, and thereby giving President Marabio. The people of Sierra Leone voted for him with 56.17%, and he became the president for a second term in Sierra Leone. And he got the majority also in the House of Parliament, and the election is over. I know there are some issues people are still raising in Sierra Leone. People are still having problems there, but again, we encourage them to proceed to the court if they are not satisfied with the election. That's what the law calls for. There's a right to express their dissatisfaction, but also to not take the law into their hands, but to take advantage of the legal system. And I think some of them are doing just that.
Okay, great. So I'd like to take you back a little bit when you talked about, like Sierra Leone is a much more tensed environment as it relates or comparing it to Liberia. What do you mean by that? And again, what lessons can we learn? Because Liberia is going to elections under 5 months. So what lessons do you think we can learn from the Sierra Leoneans?
Well, when I say Sierra Leone is different from our structures, for example, in Sierra Leone, everyone will tell you in Sierra Leone that if you went to the north of Sierra Leone, the north of Sierra Leone is dominated by the APC, the All People's Congress. They dominate the north of Sierra Leone, McKenna and all those other areas. So if you have election in Sierra Leone 100 times, the APC will win the north 100 times. Even to get for the opposition to get poll watchers to go in those areas to observe is a challenge for the opposition. It's very difficult. If you went to the South is controlled by the SLPP, the Sierra Leone People's Party. If you went there and told somebody that the APC will win there, everyone know you are crazy. And even to get poll watchers to go there. So if you went to the border town of Pujahun coming towards Liberia, Bowater Sound, that's a SLPP stronghold. You even the APC would not even find poll watchers to go there. The entire town will vote for SLPP. So they're very, very tribal. They're very territorial. That is one of the reasons why Sierra Leone election, unlike other elections where you need 50% plus 1 to win. Sierra Leone's stake is 55% to win, because their fear is that so that one group of the country or one segment of the country will not dominate the politics. That's why the stake is so high at 55%. So it's different from our
How
election.
different
Our
is
election,
that from and how different is that from Liberia when we know that, and I want your fair analysis of this, when we know that when elections are held today, or it is believed that when elections are held today, Joseph Waka is going to win Lofa County, and Prince Johnson is going to win Nima County. Is it not kind of similar? Is that going to change when it comes to Liberia? Do you think so?
well, it's similar, but it's not extreme.
Okay.
There are some similarities, but it's not extreme. For example, according to you, which we all can doubt that Prince Johnson may win Nima or Joseph Barker may win
You doubt
Lofa.
that?
Even
You
no, I
doubt
doubt
that?
it. I doubt it. Even whilst doubting it, giving you the benefit of the doubt, there you will still have major rallies of opposition parties or other parties in Lofa and in Nima. You wouldn't have a problem getting poll watchers in Nima or Lofa for other political parties. For example, and why am I doubting it? We just had a senatorial election in Lofa, where former Vice President Barker had a candidate in that election. His candidate was defeated by, yes, an independent, but that was supported by the CDC. In Sierra Leone, you will find that, my sister. You can't go to the north of Sierra Leone and the SLPP tell you they will win the north of Sierra Leone. I mean, maybe it might happen in the future, but not now. The matter of fact, that's why Sierra Leone has now returned to proportional representation. Because for a long time in Sierra Leone, you would know exactly where all the representatives from this district coming from a particular political party. So they're now going to proportional representation where you have a percentage of what you have for the presidential ballot. And it will help the system a lot. Now, lesson learned. Two main things. One is that whilst we were there, we had a lot of meetings with the Sierra Leone Electoral Commission and encouraged them to engage the media as often as possible. Going to election, the Elections Commission will now have to prepare a schedule to have a regular media briefing. The public must not speculate. When people speculate, they come up with their own fake story. And fake stories for election is not a good thing. So media engagement is very important. They must have a strong media outlet to talk to the press on a regular basis. The other thing is that Sierra Leone did that we need to do. Sierra Leone had a special training for the security apparatus leading to election. The securities were trained, even though they were trained,
By
they
the
still
government?
by the government, fully trained by the government. Even though they were trained, there were a lot of instances where they fired live voters, well, because of the tension, but they were trained leading to the election. We need to invest in security. When I saw the election budget for Liberia, I did not see any component covering security. So we need to invest in security. So those two things are very important. There are a lot of issues we can learn from the Sierra Leone election, but training of security and giving up public information to the public, protecting sensitive material. People who go there maybe print fake ballot paper. It happened in Sierra Leone election day. People print fake ballot paper and say, "Oh, people are stuffing ballot." When we went to verify, it was fake ballot paper. It wasn't genuine. So those things, the public gets stirred up and unnecessary chaos. So those are some of the things we need to look at as we proceed going to our election. Fortunately for Liberia, there are now schedules of a lot of high-level meetings in Liberia. Just today, the ECOWAS office and the foreign minister informed me former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan will be in Liberia next week to meet with all of the stakeholders. He's beginning his dialogue and fact-finding on Liberia's preparedness for the elections. He will meet with the president. He will meet with the opposition leaders. He will be in Liberia from the 11th to the 13th of July. ECOWAS will be sending a mediation team. The Political Affairs Committee and Judiciary Committee of ECOWAS will be in Liberia from the 25th to the 29th of July. The AU bringing a team in Liberia in August. There will be fact-finding missions. So there will be a lot of engagement in Liberia leading to the election so that we'll be able to have a peaceful election.
That is great. And before my co-host comes in, I'd like to ask you, and my final question on the sub-region, you sounded like a very heavy weight was lifted off your shoulders after news broke about, Senegal President Macky Sall not going for a third term. Why is it so important?
Senegal is the only country in West Africa today that have not experienced coup d'etat. Senegal have had a very stable democracy. Senegal has attracted a lot of foreign investment to the country, and Senegal has been seen as a model of peace and democracy in our region. So when Senegal did not sign the treaty, the ECOWAS Treaty on Good Governance, to ensure that there was no third term or to limit head of state to 2 terms, we were very concerned. When President Macky Sall did not commit that he would not be seeking a third term, what happened in Senegal was that the presidential term in Senegal was for 7 years. And in President Macky Sall's first year, he changed the constitution and reduced the term from 7 years to 5 years. That was very, very welcoming in the sub-region. But when that happened, President Macky Sall declared that because the constitution was changed, it was now a new republic. Legally, he was right. It became a new republic. Because it was a new republic, he now said he had the chance or opportunity or constitutional bargain to seek a third term, which would be the first term in a new republic. And if you may have followed, there were a lot of riots in Sierra Leone where the opposition was cracked down. There was a case against the main opposition leader where he was accused of rape. He won the case. The government filed another case that he corrupted the minds of the youth. And then he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. There was a lot of violence in Senegal. There was a lot of tension. So we were very worried that our symbol of democracy in the West African state of Senegal was being threatened. We launched a fact-finding mission. We launched mediation. We had meetings in Senegal. We met with President Macky Sall, and he told us that he wouldn't comment until he made a pronouncement. About 2 weeks ago, he was in France, and he made a pronouncement in France that he has a right to contest. Everyone got worried again. But then just 2 days ago in Senegal, he spoke and said he would not be seeking another term. That brought a lot of relief to the region. It brought a lot of relief to my committee. It brought a lot of relief to ECOWAS. And we're very excited that President Macky Sall made such a very good decision. And we now look forward to Gambia making the same decision, because Gambia has the same situation. And we hope that the president of Gambia will not be seeking a third term so that we can restore peace in our region. As you know, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Mali are already on a military route, and we're not looking forward to any other military regime in our region.
Okay, thank you, Senator Snowe. And I know very well that you have this kind of huge, like my colleague Titi said, very huge responsibilities on your shoulders in the sub-region. But you spoke about something when I carefully listened to your analogy about the comparative election in both Liberia and Sierra Leone. You talked about a political domicile, wherein you spoke about the SLPP having a particular region in the country that they normally win elections, and then you try to put the similarity with Liberia. But I was concerned, and I needed to have asked you this question that I'm about to ask now. What do you think? What kind of electoral practice is this when you have a particular party time in and out, being elected in a particular area in the country, whether the representatives, the senators are projected to be good people or,
I'm not hearing you.
So he's not hearing you.
Okay, I'm hearing you now. Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yeah.
Now, I was thinking, what kind of election, what kind of politic is that people will be so politically dogmatic in voting for a particular region in the country. Do you think that is a good sign of politicking, where the SLPP in Sierra Leone will continue to vote for a particular region, like what you just mentioned in Lofa County quite recently? VP Boaca was been defeated. His candidate was projected, and the people rejected his candidate only because I think the style of politics has changed. The dynamics of politics has gravitated to a new level. So, what do you think we can learn from that perspective, that particular political spectrum? What do you think we can learn from that? Do you think it's a good sign, or Liberia has got to develop on that, and Sierra Leone as well?
Well, this happening around the world. It's not unique to Sierra Leone. I mean, like TT asked a salient question. For example, in 2005, when we had our election, Vanny Sherman ran and won in Grand Cape Man County and no other county. Or Dieter Cotto ran in Nima County, ran and won in Nima County and no other county. Um, who else? You can Councilor Bronsky won in Grand Bassa County. So it happens to us, except that it's not extreme. It's not at the extreme. If you look at the United States, for example, California, the Democrats will always win California. Washington, D.C., they will win. New York, they will win. But if you go to Texas, you go to, I think, Florida, I'm not too sure. But Texas, for example, the Republicans will win Texas. So it happens in other democracies. It's not unique to Sierra Leone, except for Sierra Leone is at the extreme. I mean, it's difficult to express how it is in Sierra Leone. Most times in Sierra Leone, you have to follow two major results. Even, for example, Freetown, what you call the Western area, is dominated by the APC. That's the stronghold of the APC. For the first time, the SLPP got a thing about maybe 20% of the votes in Freetown, which is very, very strange. They always won't do well in Freetown because Freetown is for the APC. But Konon is one of the only swing region. I think it's the only swing region I know in Sierra Leone where both SLPP and APC have won it back to back. And most time, who wins Konon is always projected as the winner, because you already know the fixed votes in those other areas. So, again, it's not unique to Sierra Leone, except that in Liberia, we're not at the extreme. You can look in Sierra Leone. If you had a household that is for SLPP, my brother, everyone in that house or in the town, if the APC got one vote, they will search for that person who voted for the APC and vice versa. It's look, you don't know how to express it. I'm very happy there were some female journalists there. They followed the events there. They were very, very professional, very alert. And they might be able to explain to you, but in Sierra Leone is just completely different.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so let's come back to Liberia. Senator Snowe, how is Bomi?
Bomi is good. Well, for all indication, we're doing good, struggling, but not so bad, but also we're doing better. I see the glass as half full and not half empty.
Okay, great. The glass as half full. What is going on with your people and the Western Cluster deal? There were some disturbances there a day or two ago.
Well, PD, Western Cluster, like everyone in Liberia knows, Western Cluster have been in Liberia for a long time now, since 2011. And then it went dead. When we came back, when we won the senatorial election, we felt that there was a need to go out there and encourage investors to come and provide jobs for our people. So we're very instrumental in getting Western Cluster to return to Liberia. Since Western Cluster came to Liberia, with everything we did, all the acquisition, the fourth acquisition, we didn't mind, because for us it was intended to provide jobs for our people. Unfortunately, Western Cluster is not performing as expected. And we've been now raising the issue. We've written the authorities in government, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Mines, the National Bureau of Concession, the National Investment Commission, to bring Western Cluster to books, so that they will do what is expected, provide jobs for our people, decent jobs for our people, or provide the necessary social benefits for our people. Because, yes, we want investment. We want people to invest in our country, in our county, but not at the detriment of our people. So Western Cluster has been performing dismally, and fortunately, we've had now meetings with the NIC. Some very strong actions will be taken in the next few days to make sure that Western Cluster live by the books. Pay government taxes, or pay the social development fund for Montserrat, Bomi, Grand Cape Mount, and Bapulu County. They balance money on the MOU, $5 million. They have not paid yet. They've been paying in bits and pieces to make sure every dime is paid. The social development fund for those counties for the year 2023 is paid. And our people deserve better. Our people need health insurance. They need education as it is in the MDA. So again, we encourage investment. We will encourage investors, but not at the detriment of our people. And the necessary action, the government, thanks to the government, that is now taking the appropriate action to make sure that the well-being of our people is adhered to by Western Cluster, and that they would not allow any investment, what be it Western Cluster or any other investment, to come to Liberia and take advantage of our people. So I was instrumental in getting them. But if they do the wrong thing, I will be the first person to bring them to books, and that's what
So
we're
you
doing.
believe they're doing the wrong thing and you're bringing them to book now. Do we know when they are to appear before you in plenary? Is that something that will happen anytime soon?
Oh yeah, the matter of fact, the Senate Mines Committee under the stewardship of Senator Simon Taylor
Mm.
invited the IMCC to a hearing last week. Unfortunately, most of the ministers had traveled. The chair of the Investment Commission, I think who's the chair of the IMCC, is here in Israel with us. So he sent an excuse. He wasn't there. The meeting has been rescheduled to early next week. Early next week, the Senate will be doing a hearing on the Western Cluster. But in the meantime, letters have been sent out. The Minister of Mines is taking some actions to make sure that the right thing is done. And Western Cluster has to rectify the MDA.
Okay.
The issue of trucking, they have to decide or not decide. They have to now tell us exactly when they will build a railroad and build a new port to export the iron ore, because this government did extremely well. Other the past government, there were millions of dollars spent in Liberia and nothing happened. This government waived payments from Western Cluster because it wanted Western Cluster to provide jobs for the Liberian people. And Western Cluster cannot do it. The government will take the necessary action to ensure that they do it, or we close the mine legally.
Great. I think that's a great step in the right direction. But we now see that and I'm sure your people in Bomi will be happy hearing this, that you are bringing Western Cluster to book. We now see your Bomi County is now electrified, and prospects for road upgrading. How does that make you feel?
Today, I'm very happy. For many years now, since the civil crisis, Bomi has always been in darkness. Bomi was a dark place. Bomi was a dead city. Bomi was up to 2011, 2017, 2016, 2017. Bomi was declared the poorest county in Liberia. Bomi had little or no life. Today, I can tell you the most stable electricity you can find in Liberia today is in Bomi County. I mean,
When did
the lights.
electricity go to Bomi?
Well, a few months ago, maybe almost a year now, but
Okay.
since the WEA-led administration, the government was very instrumental in working with the West African power pool to make sure that the land, because the land was intended to go to Sierra Leone, coming from Cote d'Ivoire through the hydro then to Sierra Leone. But this government made sure that the land did not pass over Bomi and Cape Mount, but instead there were connectivity thanks to the World Bank that worked with the government of Liberia, and homes and businesses in Bomi were connected. Today you can buy ice in Bomi. That didn't happen for many years in Liberia. So we have constant electricity. Yes, we are upgrading our road thanks to the government and the payment, the first set of payment that Western Cluster made. We did the road up to Clay. The road now from Clay to Tottenham is not in a very good condition. There are a lot of work going on now. The Ministry of Public Works have been very instrumental in making sure that the pub holes and the covers are getting taken care of, so that we can upgrade the road to give it a better lift too. So it's that's why I said the glass is half full. Things are moving on course, and we're very happy about it. Yes, we need more. I mean, the money the Western Cluster paid, for example, to the county, $1 million of that amount went to Bomi Community College to upgrade the college. they received $1 million cash in the county to upgrade the college, and they're doing extremely well. 150,000 of that amount went to the government hospital to develop a joint government effort to renovate and improve health facilities in the county. 23 health facilities in Bomi County. We invested in that. 100,000 each went to 5 of the districts in the county. You know, each district got 100,000 US dollars, and a lot of things are happening. Yes, we need more money. We are now looking at fencing the Bomi football stadium, putting artificial turf, building guest houses. We are now purchasing yellow machine to have our own dump trucks, front end loader, motor grader, or compactor, so that even to buttress government's effort, you know, we cannot sit all the time today and just say government should do this. We should be able to work along with government so that we can buttress government effort in a developmental agenda. So the next bunch of money that we expect from Western Cluster will be buying yellow machines to help government effort in a developmental agenda of the county.
Let's hope that happens now that you're bringing them to book, that they will be able to give the next amount of money. But, you know, I know we left Sierra Leone, and I just want to ask you this question because we're going to elections in Liberia also. The incumbent president, Bio, was, re-elected. Do you, by any chance, see that, happening in Liberia, the reoccurrence of what happened in Sierra Leone? Especially given what this government, the CDC-led government, has done. Do you, by any chance, see any of that playing in Liberia, having, followed the elections in Sierra Leone?
Well, today in 2017, I did not support President Weah. I supported Vice President Barker, and I was one of those that were very critical of President Weah becoming president of Liberia. I did not believe that he would have performed. To my greatest surprise, since he became president, he proved me wrong. I see a lot of things happening. I just told you what's happening in Bomi. I see a lot of development going around the country. I see more road connectivity and road connections than we've seen. Don't forget, I also serve as chairman of the Public Works Committee in the Senate. So I see a lot of infrastructure work going on with little or no funding, from outside, other than collecting road fund and government meager resources. I see the Robertsfield Road, people were criticizing, but even with the rain now, it's even strengthening the soil. That road is going to be paved. So I see a lot of infrastructure work going on, and I believe that, I'm convinced already that President Weah at least proved me wrong when I thought he wasn't going to do well. He did well. So I'm of the strong opinion, not only that he will win, but I'm very hopeful and very strong. I strongly believe that he's going to win on the first round, that he's going to have a first round victory based on the amount of work he has done in Liberia and continue to do. I'm here in Israel with the president. I see the kind of international respect that he has. Yesterday he met with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He met with the president of Israel. I see the respect that he has. I see how people are excited about what he's doing in Liberia. And I believe strongly that President Weah will be winning this election, not just winning, but winning on the first ballot.
Okay, Senator Snowe, thank you very much. I think you have a lot of enthusiasm inside of you to answer all of these questions, the way we are thinking and the way we are looking at them. But I want you to look. I want you to have a say on this particular question. My colleague Titi asks you, what do you make of what happened in Sierra Leone to happen in Liberia? Now, there are political comparative analyses on what did Madabio do in Sierra Leone to get him re-elected, and what did President Weah, do in Liberia that will have him get this political overwhelming re-election. Now, can you contextualize, probably say Madabio was re-elected based on this, and this has been similar to what President Weah has done in the country, and you think that he will be re-elected based on these things. I want you to provide some analysis for your people listening, because your critics have said that the fact that Madabio was re-elected doesn't mean that President Weah will be re-elected, because President Weah did not do as much as Madabio did. What say that?
I'm very close to President Bill. So let me first do full disclosure so that, it's not misconstrued. President Mala Bill happens to be one of those presidents that I'm close to, that I speak to on a regular basis. I have a very good relationship with him. And I do have very good relationship as well with President Weah. So I happen to be friends with both of them. But I can tell you on the record, and I'm happy, just before I started the show, you remember I asked you for the link so that I would share with my network, because my friends in the ECOWAS region are currently watching this show. So I will speak to you so that people will follow it and they can attest to what I'm saying. Both President Weah and President Bill they share a lot of similarities. Even in the ECOWAS, we're flying from here tomorrow night to Accra, and then we'll leave from Accra, going to Guinea-Bissau for the ECOWAS Summit of Head of States that will be taking place on Sunday in Guinea-Bissau. And everyone excited and asking to make sure that President Bill and President Weah are in that meeting, because these are the two frontliners. Those are the two presidents that push, along with the president of Guinea-Bissau, that push the agenda, the West African agenda. So they both share a lot of similarities. They believe in they have delivered for the people. President Bill invested a lot in education. President Weah, as you know, for the first time, our students are not paying for wax or fees in Liberia. The government of Liberia is underwriting that. For the first time, the government is footing the bill at the University of Liberia. We have a digital system at the University of Liberia. President Bill did similar thing in Sierra Leone. President Bill he invested in road connectivity. As you know, President Weah is investing in road connectivity. President Bill worked on electricity. As you know, electricity in Liberia today is not 100%, but it's much improved than many, many years ago. The issue of free press, freedom of the press. President Bill encouraged freedom of the press in Sierra Leone. People go on the radio, say what they want to say. He listened to his critics. If there are shortcomings, he correct those shortcomings. In Liberia, if you tune into some stations right now tonight, they're causing George with our whole family, and everybody's shutting them down. We have freedom of the press in Liberia, religious tolerance in Liberia. President Bill doing the same thing in Sierra Leone. So there are a lot of similarities with President Bill and President Weah, and I believe on those similarities and those achievable goals, that they both have set. They have a very good relationship. President Weah and President Bill talk about things on a regular basis. They share the developmental agenda. I've been with President Weah. Most time he would say, call your man, Mala Bill, I want to talk to him. I will call President Bill and they will talk about, I just did this other 2 kilometers of road. President Weah say, I'm doing mine now. They laugh, they joke, they're very good friends, and they share a lot of similarities. So based on those things, I'm of the conviction that just how President Bill won 56% in Sierra Leone on the first ballot, I know and I believe strongly, as a political person, someone who has been in active national politics since 2005, I've contested in 4 elections. I won all on absolute majority. I know that President Weah will win the 2020 election in October, absolute majority with more than 50% plus 1.
Within the first round?
Definitely. Yeah. I believe on the first round victory. Yes.
Okay, great. So what would you say to those who are running against the president, who want to rescue the country, who want to fix their fixers, their broom 1, broom 2, fixer 1, fixer 2, rescue 1, rescue 2? What will you say to them? I don't know whether you followed the show last night. We had Mo Ali on the show, who is the spokesperson now for the Unity Party, the opposition Unity Party. And he was talking about, and I want you to speak directly to roads and electricity during comparing that to now and during the former Unity Party-led government.
Well, don't forget, I was also a member of the Unity Party. So
great.
It's important to do that full disclosure as well. But, democracy calls for competition. So when I listen to all the different cliches, the different names, and the fixer and rescuer, do they have broomer or whatever else they have? I listen to all the different names. Is that right? It's competition, but I believe that none of them will match the record of what President Weah has done in the last 5 going to 6 years. And I know that he's going to win based on deliverables. Yes, people are talking about electricity. I mean, don't forget when we launched the policy, small light today, big light tomorrow. We're all excited, but was that achievable? Did we really achieve it today in Liberia? And let's face it, the electricity today, I mean, we have it's not widespread, it's not all over the country, but is it better than it was years ago? The answer is yes. And any reasonable and fair person will have the same answer as I will have. Also, what this government has done or is doing that we did not achieve is power theft. Most of the leakages on power electricity in Liberia, where people were having problems with electricity, it was because there were a lot of leakages in the system and people were getting free electricity and LEC could not raise the necessary funds to pay the bills. Today the government have a task force that, be it small or big, people go around to check to make sure there's no power theft so that the needed revenue will come to the LEC and that the LEC will be able to pay its bill and provide services for the Liberian people. And that is being achieved. So when we talk about, it's easy. I've been in the opposition before. It's easy to see white and say it's black. But deep down, when you go to bed in the night and you close your eyes, do you realize that it's better? Today, people can say, "Oh, roll call for current," and say, "Oh, we don't have current yet before. Tonight we don't have current yet this other night." It's because they didn't even have it before, and now that we're beginning to have it, when we don't have it, we miss it. So I believe, like I said, I'm senator from Bomi County. Bomi County have never had current since the Civil War. Less than 1 year ago, we now have 24 hours electricity. 24 hours electricity.
I know you support President Weah, and you have said that openly. Are you willing to go all out to campaign for this president to win on a first round ballot?
TD, the only thing I have not been able to do in my life is to throw a rock and hide my hand. And sometimes that's why, TD, you cover the legislature. You work with work. I've known you for many years. I've interacted with you. You have been very critical on some of the things we've done in the legislature. You've reported. We are forced and all of that. So you know my stance on things. When I'm for you, I'm for you. That's why I say to people, 2017, when I supported Vice President Boyka, now one person in the CDC government will tell you that they are communicated one day in 2017 when I stood for Ambassador Boyka. In 2014, when I supported Mr. Weah for the Senate against Robert Salif, now one person in the early cycle will tell you I communicated with them against George Weah's interest. 2023, I'm with George Weah, I'm for him, and I'm going to go all out to campaign for him. I will be there, and we will make sure that we win the election on the first ballot. That's what I'm there for. I'm not hiding my hand. I'm not, talking secret to anybody. I'm clear about this. My friends, don't forget, most of the guys in the opposition are my very good friends. So there will be times where I will communicate with them. I will talk to them. But will I talk to them to the detriment of my interests? No. We will laugh. We'll share jokes. I have people, Senate colleagues. One of my closest friends in Liberia is Jeremiah Kuhn. Today, he finds himself on another side, I'm on another side. We respect each other. I respect his side, he respects my side. And he knows what I stand for. I know what he stands for. So we're going to go ahead. So I'm going to go in his county. I'm going in his hometown to campaign against him for President Weah. Yomni Kanga Lawrence, very good friend of mine. Musa Bede of the CPP is one of my closest friends in Liberia. We'll be campaigning against each other because they want their side to win, and I want my side to win. Not only that I want my side to win, but I want my side to win on the first ballot, and I'm going to take hands off on them to make sure that we achieve this.
Is there any distinction with Joe Boakai, who once said that he was a parked car in the garage, but now ready for the race? Is there any distinction? I know you supported the Unity Party in the past. What can you say now?
Well, terms are used during times and occasions. He
say
said
that again.
Terms.
Oh, terms.
Terms are used during times and occasions. He said what he had to say during the 2017 election when he said he was a parked car. I know there have been a lot of clarification and a lot of adjustments to that scale, to that statement. Every time it's established or is stated, new clarification have come up. So we leave them with with those clarifications. And I think my style of politics, TT, is to do what I can do against your interest. Most times, I find no pleasure in discussing the other side, what they did, what they didn't do, what they will say. I make my case. And the case I will be making in the 2023 election is George Weah deliverables. What has he done? Look at the amount of young people that Mr. Weah has empowered today in Liberia. Look at the young people. Look at the LBS you're in today. Take a look, take your camera, TT, and drive and show it on LBS and let anyone tell me at what point in time since the war in Liberia has the yard in LBS been as it is today. The studio you're in, I went to that studio, I thought I was in a foreign studio. I mean, those are some of the things we've done. I mean, the young people in this government, they have shown themselves. They have shown to the world that if you give a young man or give someone the power, they can do well. So I'm very impressed with the output of the government. I think that we can do more, and I think that with the second term of President Weah, with the experiences he has gathered over the last 6 years, he will even do better in his final term.
Okay. Do you have a
Yeah,
question for him?
so thank you, Honorable Snow, for all of these good deliberations. But I want to ask you a quick one question with a follow-up question. You talk about electoral competitiveness. Do you think that the opposition, like the likes of Ellis Commons, Joe Boyka, the Tier 1 Gonglo, do you think they present any better platform than the one you support? Or do you think they have anything in their platform that could possibly develop Liberia that you don't have?
If I will tell you this in a very short response. If any of them had a better platform than the one I support, I would be with that person. The platform, the alternatives that Mr. Weah gives, or the choices that he provided for our people, is far better than what I've seen. That's why I'm supporting him. I'm not a member of the CDC, don't forget, but I believe in what he has done. I'm very convinced that with a second term, he will do better. The opposition community have their own case. There are several platforms. I saw a stronger opposition when there was one CPP. Today, they could not even agree amongst themselves. So it tells you that sometimes is it about the country or it's about our individual interest. So again, President Weah provides a platform. He provides what I think the Liberian people need. And I showed that with the second term, he will even do far better than he did in the first term.
And with this follow-up question, you spoke about electoral competitiveness and bringing you back to understand what you spoke about. Now, you said that your contemplation would not be about discussing the opposition, but how are you going to campaign when the opposition is not a point of discussion?
Because I'll make my case. I'll be telling I will be telling you what I can do, what my candidate has done. What you've done is your business. I will tell you what I'm going to sell my own fish to the market. So I'm not going to tell you TT fish is not a good fish or your snail is not a good snail, so buy mine. I will give you reasons why you should buy mine. And my reasons would be what I've given you. I can tell you today that this government have done a lot of road connectivity. This government is providing electricity. This government has invested in education. This government has provided means for our market women. We build market or structures around the country. They've invested in macro loans for our market women. Just yesterday, I got a call from the Minister of Gender telling me that she's on her way to Bomi on Friday to do money to provide money through a macro loan arrangement for market women in Bomi County. So we've empowered the market women. We've empowered the young people. What I've seen also in this government or in the CDC, even though I'm not a member of the CDC, that I did not see before, today I have seen people all over this government that have been providing for the campaign, that have come to the president. Mr. President, I have one motorbike. I have 5 motorbikes. I have 10 motorbikes. Today, CDC has logistics or war chest for this election, not because President Weah has taken money from his pocket or from the government to provide, but I have seen officials of government that have come to contribute to this campaign, to contribute to the success of the campaign. And those are some of the things that when you look around, you say, this is love for party, this is love for country. So again, believe me, my politics, I believe my style of politics, and if you go and check the record, every time I campaign, I don't focus on my opponent. I focus on my deliverable, what I have done, what I'm capable of doing. Because sometimes the opposition people don't even know their names. If you were a popular candidate and start calling their names, you'll be promoting them in disguise. So why should I promote someone when I have all the time to promote myself or to promote my candidate?
So, what are some of the unfinished businesses you want to fulfill, for which you're pushing a second term for President Weah's, um, um, for President Weah, or to have President Weah re-elected? What do you think the government needs to do, that it has to do to better the lives of the people for which you want them to give President Weah a second term?
That's why I said the glass is half full. Now we're trying to fill this glass. The president, I'm chairman of Public Works Committee, and I've seen the blueprint of the government. I've had discussion with the Minister of Finance. I've had discussion with the Minister of Public Works. As a matter of fact, just today, the Minister of Public Works and I were chatting. We know of bilateral arrangement. President, we are in Israel now. We're talking about agriculture. We're talking about big agriculture projects in Liberia. President Weah has been talking about rural connectivity. Now there's sufficient information of funds available to continue the road network into Lofa County, hit all the way to Monicama. Funds have been made available. President, we have said, look, and I've seen, proof to that. If it had not been this rainy season now, major road work would have been going on now from Buchanan through RTR, going through River Cess to Sano. Road work going into the southeastern region. President Weah have told me, and I have seen those documents, that the beginning of his second term will be doing road through the southeastern region. For a very long time, we have not had good road network in the southeastern region. Now is the time. In his second term, those are first priorities in his first year of his second term to begin the road going through Grand Jita, going through River G, hitting all the way to Maryland and to Grand Cru. We will
But
be
the
talking
opposition
about.
say you should leave them to rescue it.
Well, the word rescue is relative. You can see fire somewhere and you take a fire truck there to rescue the home and the fire truck has no water in it. So did you
What is
take the
that supposed
fire
to mean?
truck? Did you take a fire truck to cut off the fire to rescue the people, or you just took an empty frame to go and say you have fire truck there? Look, again, TT, I like to focus on my plans. I don't, who
Okay.
want to rescue, who want to fix. Maybe sometimes, who knows, the rescuers, people who want to rescue could be rescued themselves. People who want to fix could be fixed themselves. And I believe that if you give in President Weah a second term, he will be able to put all of those agendas together. And the thing about him, this morning he and I shared breakfast and we're talking. He says, no, look, we need to look at, he said, in my second term, we wouldn't just take the opposition, papers and their platform and manifesto and throw it away. We'll look into it and see some of those things they have, if anything good in it for the Liberian people. We adapt those things and deliver it to the Liberian people. So he's not one of those that just sit down and just criticize. Sometimes today when you and somebody on the same side, even if they're white, you say no, the black. Sometimes I see my friends on Facebook dissing me and dealing with me, and I just laugh and I say, these same friends, if I join them today, I'll be a good guy. So these things happen
The
in
Liberia we
politics,
have, isn't it?
So
So
that's how
we
it
need to go
is.
to the lines, but before we go to the lines, I want to ask you this question, and I hope you'll let the cat out of the bag. Edwin Snowe, the name Snowe seems, to be a very big name in Liberian politics. Is it that is Snow thinking about or harboring some kind of presidential ambition after President Weah's second term?
I've always done one day at a time, TD. My goal right now is to ensure that my friend, who has done very well in his first term, is given the opportunity to have a second term. And
Thereafter?
when he's elected for his second term, then we
Mhm.
shall determine the way forward for 2029.
We shall determine the way forward for
For
2029. What
That's
is
correct.
that supposed to mean?
It means that the chicken and the egg, which one comes first? When we deliver 2023, when we deliver 2023, we determine the way forward for 2029. You cannot discuss 2029 without achieving 2023.
Okay, so those who are going to determine the way for 2024 are the ones who are going to determine the way for 2029, right?
You must first deliver 2023, and then you look at 2029.
Yeah, I want
You
to know.
remember, you remember, you remember you were once analog, now you're digital. You're gone digital. So you
Okay.
first have to deal with your system as analog and then go digital. So let's deal with
Is it
2023.
possible after, you have transitioned from analog to, focus on digitalization?
Well, after the 2023 victory, all things remain possible. All cards will be on the deck, and we will discuss that further.
Okay, I'm going to open up the lines now for you to make your import this evening on Open Conversation. It's your turn, you who are following the show, to quiz Senator Snowe, who has been talking about, Liberia's political climate and what he thinks is going to happen as we go towards elections. And so the number to call is 088 0514-096 is the number to call, and you'll be live on Open Conversation. Our very first caller is on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Cyrus.
Let's hear you, Cyrus.
Yeah, I just want to discussion. We are saying, president going on, president, we are going to win the election. The power of rescue, I think they're coming rescue. They were there for another rescue, another rescue. Then they say it's fun all about 21 years. But then they're coming rescue. Then we are going to be the election. So they are going to about 20.
Okay, thank you also for being a part of the program. Let's get this. Okay, this person is up the line. Let's see whether we can bring in this other person. Good evening. Please be a little bit audible. Okay, let's hear you, Lawrence.
Yeah, I say thank you for the honorable institute there. But who will say that is that the president we have done nothing when it comes to any of the development agenda. Anything, not done anything in the country. Just still the model, maybe president.
Well, that person is off the line. Let's take this one. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Perez UJ Banks, and I call from the Full Soul Clinic to be precise. Honorable Edwin Melvin Snowe, sir, I just want to appreciate you a lot. You are the first Liberian politician since I was ever existent to see the reality in transforming our nation. Trust me, I have seen a lot of older people. I'm not into politics like that. But tonight, I tune on my radio and listening to a few major things that you said. It got me inspired to know that there are certain people within this country who don't seek their personal interest, but rather seek the betterment of the nation. And with that, I must say I'm proud of you. And that is the reason I see you keep moving strong and positively.
Yeah, let me say thank you for taking the show this evening. My name is David Garago Wise, and I joined this conversation from the Bagube Avenue into community. Let me say thank you to the reserve president of the Republic of Liberia, Senator Edwin Snowe. I like his
Did you
analysis.
say the reserved president?
Yeah, he's reserved for 2029. It's clear.
Oh, okay.
I like his analysis. His analysis, was well articulated. Most especially the analysis that had to do with, the democracy of Liberia and that of Sierra Leone. If you listen to him quite frankly, you understand that they do it. It clearly shows that Liberia, had spent a very good, is in a very good position in terms of its democratic growth and then Sierra Leone. Because Liberia, over the time, you observe a lot of protestations that were in this country, and the recent one that happened in Sierra Leone, the president of this country, Dr. George Monrovia, has managed to maintain inflation at single digit because of the high living condition in Sierra Leone. The people rose up, and you are a witness. You saw what happened in Sierra Leone when the people came out. Okay. Unless President George Monrovia who was to sustain and maintain all the protestation that took place in this country, it tells you that President George Monrovia is democratically oriented. Thank you for affording me the opportunity.
Thank you. Senator Snowe, are you getting us?
Yeah, I'm getting you. You were off for a while. I don't know if it was my fault or your fault.
Yeah, we had some technical problems, but it's good you're getting us now. Okay. Let's take this other caller. Hello.
Yeah, today. Good evening. This is Tokle Wizard.
Mr. Wisa, welcome to the program.
I'm okay. I'm calling you from Baptist Seminary where I live for the past 13 years. Today, let me just congratulate on Snowe. We all came a very long way and listen to all your analysis. Today, I came to Monrovia in 1980s. I've been in government from Snowe. We all came 95 with our state. Today, Liberia will be 176 years in July. Today, I live in Ghanaville from Patient Shop to Tusafi, from Tusafi, Drare Market, and other places. In terms of shame on the people who not seeing what is happening, the transformation for an excellency President we are. Today, if I tell you the child that born after the 12 years government in conflict, who seen the rule from Sekipa to conflict, Kota, the child who seen the rule from Ganta to secretary, who had no option, who is reached the voting stage not to vote for President Weah.
Okay.
President Weah are going to win one round because of tangible things that we see. I have been in government for a very long time. You see, Omosua, I listen to him. We that came from the NPP, we don't shy away from our identity. So speaking from what he knows and what's going to happen come October 10th.
Okay, Mr. Wisa, thank you so much.
If you from here, can you give me a chance?
We have to take other callers. We have to take other callers, sir.
Okay, Titi. But I can tell you, this is what we're waiting for. When Japan start, we'll tell the people so that people can know what President we are offer and what he wants to do and when he's stopping.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello?
Sister D, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. This is Pascal Davis, and I phone from District 6. And let me say thanks to Honorable Snowe. And today I must confess tonight, I personally feel that Honorable Snowe has always been taking decisions in his personal interest. That's how I felt from 2005 up to 2017. But with this decision taken to support Ambassador Weah, the president, and especially in the midst of all the development, it speaks well on that. Yes, Mr. Snowe has always been in the interest, and I can show you tonight and commit myself. And after the 2023 elections, and after 6 years President Weah, I personally going to ensure that you become our next president. Because to be honestly, Snowe has been one person who his popularity cannot be underestimated. Nobody can question the popularity of Honor Snowe. And so joining the CDC for us and supporting the president, we see that as a big boost. And Honor Snowe, you are starting to get your base now for 2029 after the president has retired. I want to say thank you, and it's a better decision you have taken to move forward. Thank you so much. Let me say kudos to the people of Bomi County as well. Thank you so much, Edith, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Pascal. Hello. Hello. You're coming in broken. Please change your location. Let's hear you.
Okay, thank you. Let me say thank you to thank you very much. I mean, you know, they come in to make sure that President will go back. So the couple of years last year, what you told me, what you just for the country. I mean, more kind of people. So, we are here to we are very blessed. So,
okay. Thank you. Hello.
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 Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
This is Mr. Cornelius Reese Jr. Please, I'll stay calling you from Monrovia County.
Let's hear you, sir.
Hello, brother Snowe.
How are you, my brother?
We all started a struggle together for MPF to MPP. But the manner in which situations are going, especially the job-related matter, from that of the National Patriotic Party to the coalition, is very, very disheartening. I think there's a trend that needs to be taken. According to the manner in which situations are proceeding in the country is very, very disgusting. And I don't think if we to continue under this manner. You know me very well, I know you very well. And if this can continue, we'll have another trend. Thank you.
Thank you also. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You're live. Please tell us your name. We don't have time.
My name is Bill. I call from GSO.
Let's hear you, sir.
How are you, Honorable Snowe? Honorable Snowe has been one individual that have been following for the last 15, 20 years. So it was not bad for Honorable Snowe to take that decision. I'm also a member of the Friends of Snowe. So Honorable Snowe, you get my support. I will be joining you to support Ambassador Weah. Thank you very much.
Thank you also. Good evening. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Jay Imano calling from Pivajoba.
Let's hear you.
Yes, I just want to tell Honorable Melvin Snowe the real procedure for him to take. I don't think that to support CDC because once we support CDC, they're going to lose. We are not looking for a political arm robber or a political front of any Melvin Snowe or no question. So we beg that it's not for our country, please.
Thank you. Hello.
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 Yeah, TT, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
This is Representative Exparent Ayuba Swari from District 18.
Let's hear you, sir.
Okay, let me appreciate your student discussion, Honorable Snowe. So I did listen to him talking about President Weah deliverables, which I appreciate him. He also said he and President Weah had launched together today, and President Weah told him about his vision in regards to conducting the rules in the Southeastern. But as we speak currently, the rules in Western Liberia are like death traps. What has Honorable Snowe told President Weah about the rules in Western Liberia? What has President Weah assured Honorable Snowe about the rules in Western Liberia? Is there any plan so that our people can be aware, or the campaign will be taken to
I mean, the southeastern and western Liberia be left undone? That's my question to him. Thank you so much.
Okay, and I'm sure he's taking note. He's going to answer that question. Hello? Hello?
Yeah. This is Mr. Reese again. I got a little rectification.
Sorry, let's take other callers. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Let's hear you, Mama.
Yeah, my name is Catherine Esther from Mombasa.
Okay.
Yeah, the last time we were thinking whether on Snowe stay behind and the president, and we got to hear to know that he behind the president because we all were used to not behind to go to Arotu. That time was superintendent for Momata Market. So I've been to hear from him that he's. So we tell God thank you for him.
So you happy that he behind the president, eh?
Yeah, we happy.
Okay.
And secondly, he was used to help us, but he leave or he go away for me. Now we can get nothing from here again.
You will answer that question why you can get nothing from here.
Then he gave my mobile number there and send me something. Now my mobile number there.
Mama, I know the number. You won't call your mobile number, then you call it yourself. And it not showing
yeah,
here.
let me call it. Let me call it. 088 5
Eh? Yeah, it was 0888 what?
088 535 99
53599
699.
Eh, Oma. 0888
535 699.
535 699.
Yeah, 699. I wish him to hear from you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mama. Okay. Oma, finish putting her point through. Hello.
Hello?
Let's hear you.
I do think that's the best way or to cut somebody off when they are in speech. Thank you.
Thank you also. Hello. Okay, we're going to hold the calls there a little bit and come back to Senator Snowe. Senator Snowe, you listen to the callers. There was somebody, a representative aspirant, and I'd like you to speak to his concerns also. And I'm sure you caught that point. So let's hear from you before we ask you our last few questions.
Well, most of the callers were positive. They welcomed the idea, and I want to thank them and do our best not to disappoint them. Most of them talk about the future. The future God has control of the future, so we look forward to a brighter future. The one who said they don't need me and no way, well, it's unfortunate. That's where we find ourselves. You be where you are, we'll be where we are. If you are in the same path with us and you don't need us, the room is big. Just go to another area in the room and help contribute to the same goal. I'm going to talk about the person who called for the second time or the third time, I think, and then you had to give other callers a chance. Talk about the role in Western Liberia. My first priority is Western Liberia. That's where I am. That's where I represent. And the interest of Western Liberia is my interest. The role, for example, leading from St. Paul Bridge to Tottenburg going to Bapolu, that's a road that is seriously being considered. Right now, I just told you the condition of the road from Pole River to Clay that has been reconditioned, and now we are trying to get phase 2 of the road work done from Clay to Tottenburg. The road from Clay going through Waterside is a road that has been earmarked for complete rehabilitation and possible to even start off the first 2 booths that we have, one at Clay and one Waterside. There's also currently the road work going on from Moulton Corner going through Swen Marker all the way into Bapolu. Major covers and other things have been done. The road work itself slowed down because of heavy downpour of rain, but the government has made significant payment to the contractors. The Bomi County itself is fixing the road from somewhere called Coleman Hill going all the way into Sakitan. We have machine on that road right now. So road work is going on in Western Liberia. Is it the best? Is it all the areas? No, but there's significant progress in road connectivity in Western Liberia. Don't forget, Western Liberia is not the only region. I talk about the southeast. The first thing I started off was talking about the road going into Lofa, Monicama from Banga. And you know the road already now is all the way around Saraye and it's going further, progressing rapidly. Don't forget the downpour of rain, the volume of rain that falls in Liberia is very heavy. So most times during the rainy season, it's not advisable to conduct road work during the rainy season. Even right now, the government has made significant payment to East, for example. East have been praying for a few days of dry so that they can, lay some more pavement on the Roberts Field Road. We've been having a heavy downpour of rain. We've been monitoring that. And as soon as we can get a few days of dry, they will begin again to continue to put asphalt on that road. So road work is going on all over the country. You see in the ERWA junction, you see in the Dupo Road junction, the red light, and it's not just one-sided. So again, I want you to be assured that it's not just for the southeastern region, but the southeastern region has suffered the worst. Many years ago, when we had President Todman, who came from the southeastern region, unfortunately, he traveled by boat. Well, he did not use the road, so the government did not focus much on that road. Former President Samuel Doe, the late Doe, was working on that road for, I think, his birthday celebration, and then the war came and then led to his death. President Salif did some work on roads in the country. We must give her that credit. Going into Banga, going into Ganta, going to Bikano. Now President Weah is continuing from where she left off, and he's doing well. Road work is not overnight. You have to do feasibility, you have to do soil testing, you have to mobilize the resources, and it's not something you can do in just 1 year, 2 years. No, it takes time. Today, all the roads I'm talking about going to the southeastern region, soil testing has been conducted, or resource mobilization has been worked on, to a large extent. We're now waiting for the next dry season. In the first quarter of the second term of President Weah, you will see significant road work going on all over the country. So we're very concerned about that. We're not, insensitive to the road network in the country. There's nothing we can do without road connectivity. My Oman called, and yes, she gave her mobile number. I just sent a text now to my guys to make sure tomorrow we can arrange something for her. I hope I got the number right, but the number I got here. Hello,
Senator Snowe, are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now.
Okay, please continue.
So my Oman call, gave her number. I hope I got the number right. It's 0888-535-699. So we'll try and organize something small for her tomorrow. She's right. I did not forget them. Yes, I'm moving to Bomi, and the people of Bomi have been very, very loving to me. They have received me as one of their own. But I also know that I left the district in very good hands, and we have even better hands coming into 2023 election. As you know, there will be new faces in this election. There will be new candidates.
Who are you supporting in district number 6?
Oh, you sure you want to know that?
You say there will be new faces coming in.
Well, yeah, there will be a new face. I know there will be new faces, and I know that someone new will be elected as district number 6 representative. So, Mr. Arthur Gotolo is my candidate, and I'm hopeful that he will become the next representative of district number 6.
Okay, so you're giving him your blessings. Okay.
Yeah.
Senator Snowe, I know you keep saying that. I want to talk about what I'm going to do and to get President Weah re-elected, but we can't do that without talking about the faults of the opposition. And I'm sure you're following up on what's happening in Liberia. Just yesterday, there was news that the Unity Party, the former ruling establishment that you supported, is in debt with the owners of the property they were occupying, and as a result, they have not been able to live up to their part of the agreement, and the standard bearer of the party and other key officials risk being incarcerated. There was that news yesterday, but when I put it to the spokesperson of the Unity Party, he says that why we didn't pay our debt it was because we were not corrupt, and that is why we didn't pay our debt. What will you say to that?
You know, today, what I'm enjoying in the 2023 election, I support the second term of President Weah, so I support the candidate of the CDC. But the Unity Party and the CPP have been doing a lot of good job for us. So I really want to give them the chance to continue doing that job. When you turn the radio
What is
on,
that?
you go on Facebook, they're attacking each other enough. So what should we get it for when they're already helping us to do the job? You know, I listen to them. You always see them attacking each other, showing the shortcomings. So again, we will
Do
be
you think a
focused.
former ruling party should be in debt at this time? Couldn't pay their rent, and today they are telling the Liberian people that we deserve to be in power. We can rescue this country when they couldn't pay their debt.
Well, today I'll be objective with this, like I've been with all the other questions. I saw the newspaper headlines. I don't know the exact arrangement. Now, if the party signed as a party and is indebted as a party, then it's a different thing. If an individual is responsible for the debt, then it's a
No,
different
it's a
thing. So,
party. It's not an individual.
okay, so
It's a
if it was a party, then I read
Mhm.
that an individual will be incarcerated. Then that was a little confusing for me. So I really don't know the details. As you know, I've been spending my time in the Holy Land, praying for a peaceful election in Liberia, praying for our country, praying for our own health and our own future. So I've not had time to go through all of the different, captions and all of the different Facebook attacks that I've really been enjoying between the CPP and the Unity Party. But again, I hope that they will resolve the problem, and I hope they will pay their debt. Being indebted to people is not a very good thing. And when you owe people, you must learn to pay your bills.
So also weigh in on this one. You listen, I'm sure you followed that the Unity Party announced their campaign team. Senator Yombly Kanga Lawrence will be heading that team. And we have a lot of names. Some old senators are on that list. Senator former House Speaker Alex Tyler is on that team. Mo Ali is the spokesperson of that team. When you heard that, what did you think? Do you think we have as a ruling party, or the party you support, the ruling establishment, do you think they are up against a really, really strong force?
Well, I listened to the names of the campaign team. Most of them are people I know very well. Yomli and I are very, very close. She's like a sister to me. I've worked with almost all the people that were named. I was disappointed that I didn't hear the name of anyone from the Muslim community. I think the youngest person that was announced was Prince Mui. I didn't hear the youth being represented on the campaign structure, the motorcyclists, the market women. So a lot of sectors of society were left out. I've been privileged to see the structure being drawn of the CDC campaign team. And I see, the young people are represented. I see the motorcyclists are represented. I see the market women. I see the Muslim community. That should be announced very shortly. So what we are doing and what has been done, I see a group of elitists, people that are either current lawmaker or former lawmaker, to represent the interests of, to rescue the rescuers. Maybe I should say that. But I wasn't impressed at all, and I didn't see any heavy weight on that campaign team compared to what I know we are drawing up. So definitely there's nothing to worry about, and I can tell you all that our supporters that listen to this program, we have nothing to worry about, because we will come up with a campaign team that will represent a cross sector of the society, that will represent people, that will represent not just represent the elite, but represent your market women will see themselves in the campaign structure. The motorcyclists will see themselves in the campaign structure. The religious community, Christian and Muslim, will see, the minorities will see themselves in the campaign structure. The elitists will see themselves in the campaign structure. It will be a very big campaign team. We'll have a national campaign team, and we'll have county specific. We'll have campaign team in all of the counties. So it's going to be very different from what I heard announced at the fundraising or the birthday celebration. I think the festivity was maybe too much, that most of those people were left out. But our campaign team will be able to cover all of those sectors of society, and I can assure you that it will be a better and stronger campaign team.
So finally, from my end, and maybe my colleague can chip in, how will you rate the performance of the election commission so far?
The election commission has done extremely well. They've conducted senatorial election. They've conducted by elections. the chair of the Elections Commission, Madam Director Brown, someone that I have explicit confidence in. She and I were together in Nigeria. She's a co-chair for a group of election experts or election commissioners around West Africa called ECONEC. She's been very involved, not just with Liberia election, but other areas getting, experience, knowledge, acquiring knowledge. We're together in Nigeria. We're together in Sierra Leone. She has been very active, working with her colleagues in the region. She's a very fair person, and I think the Election Commission has proven to the 2020 senatorial election. I ran against the candidate of the ruling party, and I defeated him. And today I'm senator. The opposition won more seats than the ruling party. So the Election Commission has proven to be neutral. They've proven to be professional, and I show that they will lead us to a good election come 10 October 2023.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Snowe. Just a quick wrapping up question for you. You were a representative, represent a particular constituent in Bomi County. You raised up your hands and you won as one of the senators in Bomi County, and then raised up the hand of Finda Lasana, and she took your place. Now, the 2023 elections is coming, and are you going to put a particular political interest in some people, or are you going to encourage them to align with the CDC? Do you think that supporting people who the CDC doesn't support or are not on the CDC's ticket will be a political undermine?
Well, no. First thing, Fina remains my candidate. I'm her political leader, so she remains my candidate. We will also be promoting female representation in the legislature. So I'm a very strong supporter. I want to publicly thank the CDC for not feeding a candidate against Fina. She's running as an independent candidate. She supports the re-election of President Weah, and the CDC is not feeding a candidate against her. She's going, as an independent, but strongly supported by the CDC. There are other candidates that are coming up, and I hope that the elections will be okay. There will be people that, may come from different political persuasion that we feel that are competent, and we could support them. For now, I have, my weight is going behind Madam Finda Lasana for the House of Representatives, District Number 1 in Bomi County. And the CDC candidate in District Number 2 is called Vani Marshall. And then in Swemaka, which is a little tricky, I have a candidate that is different from the side of the CDC. I support Usman Dukle. The CDC candidate there is Haja Fatah Sain. We will run a civil campaign. There will be no attacks. We'll make sure that the process is peaceful, and whoever wins will become the representative from that district that I will work with. Don't forget that I will still be in the Senate when the election is over, and the 4 other lawmakers will be joining me in the Senate. So I look forward to having a cordial relationship. There are people that
Is there
I will
any
support.
particular reason, sorry to hold you there, why you're not supporting Haja Fatah Sain? Sorry.
Exactly.
Yes, the reason is very simple. Mr. Usman Dukle was contesting in 2020 as senator. And when I joined the race, Mr. Dukle and I had a political understanding. In addition to his competence, to his level of education and his experience, Mr. Dukle and I had an understanding that he would back out of the race. He will support me for the Senate with the hope that in 2023, I will support him for representative. And I want to live up to that agreement. I want to live up to that commitment that I have with Mr. Dukle. Representative Fatah Haja Sain is very dear to me. We both entered the legislature together in 2005. We have worked together. We are together in the ECOWAS Parliament. It's a difficult decision for me, but I must live up to political agreements. I must live up to mutual agreement that I reached with others. And that was a commitment that I made to Usman, and I don't intend to default on those commitments. I would have prayed that he reconsidered not to run against her, but the fact that he's in the race, I'm left with no alternative but to respect the commitment that I made to him.
That
to
that is
continue to
that is
serve him.
exactly where I was trying to trend, Senator Snowe, because you support the re-election bid of President Weir, and if you are having these competitive electoral opposition stuff in the county, in the different districts, wherein Fanta Hajasayan will have different people supporting her, and your own proposed candidate will have your support, different from the support of CDC. What becomes of the political formidability of CDC in that particular district when you support the agenda of the president, but yet and still you have two different candidates in a particular district? Don't you think there some political misunderstanding?
No, I think I just need to be sincere with them and sincere. I've had a conversation with Mahaja, someone that I have a lot of respect for. I told her about it. She understands the role that I played. She understands that it's very important to live up to commitment. Fortunately for me, Mr. Usman Dukle also support President Weir. Now, don't forget, my interest is the re-election of President Weir. So I may not necessarily support all of the CDC candidates. I'm not a seditian. I'm not a member of the CDC.
The two
But I
CDC
strongly
candidates going against one another.
Well, Osman is not a CDC, but he supports President Weir. Haja Fadasan is a member of the CDC. Good for me. Both of them support the re-election of President Weir. My interest is President Weir. So I will keep my eyes on the ball. I mean, I got to be fair to them. Now, most times politicians have problems when they can't keep their word. Usman was a formidable force in the 2020 election. He had commanded the support of the young people in Bomi County before I got in the race. When I got in the race, I had a meeting with him. I called him for a meeting. I begged him for his support. The only condition that he gave, even people accused me of giving him money or buying, or I did not give Usman 1 cent. The only condition Usman Dukle had was that if I back off, I would want you to support me in 2023. And I made that commitment to Mr. Dukle. So it's with heavy heart. I cannot go in that district and insult Mahaja. I cannot go there and be negative. I will go there and promote Usman, who is my candidate. And any one of them who win will work along with me. And good for me, which make it very easy for me, is that both of them support the re-election of President Weir.
Okay, Senator.
That makes a lot of sense. And we know you in Israel now with the president, and we get the vibes from your presentation tonight, and it appears that the blessings from the Holy Land is flowing. Senator Snowe, thank you so much for taking up your time to kind of sit with us this evening on Open Conversation.
It's really a pleasure, Titi. It's always good talking to you from your days in the legislature. You've always been one of my favorite journalists, and I'm very happy to see you tonight. I'm very happy we are in the Holy Land. Tomorrow we'll be going to visit the Jordan River, River Jordan. Yesterday we visited the room of the Last Supper where Jesus had the Last Supper. We visited the garden. We visited the tomb of Jesus. We've been visiting some very holy sites and been praying for Liberia, praying for peaceful election, and praying for one-round victory for President Weir. The statement coming out of Israel for him, the prayers that are coming out of Israel are very, very, very touching, very strong sentiments. And we pray that God will answer our prayers so that he will win the election the first round. I'll be washing my hands and my feet tomorrow in the Jordan River, and I'm very excited about that.
Sounds so good. We are told that if you went to the Western Walls and you prayed and then you left your prayer request there, whatever you prayed for is believed that God is going to answer that prayers. So
and guess what? Guess what? I left my request there. I put my paper there. I won't tell you what's in it, but I left it there.
Okay, so we wish you all the best, and thank you again for sitting with us on Open Conversation.
The only person I share my request with was the president. He shared his with me. I share mine.
But why you share yours? Oh, you guys share. The request is for God. Or you're requesting to go, and you're sharing it with each other.
We pray for each other. So we share.
So when it comes to fruition, he would say, "Oh, I told you, I prayed this prayer, and then it came."
So certainly he will share the blessing with you too, Senator.
Well, we pray for each other.
I like that in 2029, right?
we pray for each other.
That is great. Thank you, Honorable Snowe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So it is what it is.
Certainly, it is what it is. It was an ecstatic moment with the senator. A very beautiful conversation, a spirited one as well. and we look forward to having more of these conversations.
Yeah, he was optimistic about a first round victory for incumbent Liberian President George Weah in the October elections in Bomi County. You know, he said that President Weah will be overwhelmingly voted based on his track records of development. And I think it's something that the Liberian people who called, and even the callers who listened and called in, agreed with most of them, with this assertion.
Exactly. That gives him, more work to do as a senator of the county, to articulate the agenda of the president, to do more in order to make the myth, to demystify the myth, and all of the wrongful propaganda against the agenda that he supports. I think he has a colossal responsibility on that.
Okay, so we want to say thank you to all of you joining us via our social media page and online or inland. We'd like to say thank you for joining us, and we will be here, God willing, tomorrow again with another fascinating edition of Open Conversation. My name is Titi Jibro.
And I'm Washington.
Have a pleasant evening.
Bye-bye.
Now up to the sun, the left hand together. I go.